Joining me today is Kathy Mangum, who's executive producer at Walt Disney Imagineering. She actually has overall producing responsibilities for Walt Disney World. Kathy, by the way, also oversaw the creation of Cars Land in California, which is something that's been a tremendous hit. So she's no stranger to large transformational developments.
No.
So this is a model of what will be Disney Springs. And you're probably wondering why we ran out of paint. We don't actually intend to have the whole thing be blonde. But we like to build these models to give people, ourselves, frankly, and certainly the folks that we might come in and the tenants that we might talk to, retailers, restaurateurs, just a sense of what this place would be like. But, you know, we're Disney, so we like to put a little pixie dust in everything we do. And so we've devised a way to sort of bring Disney Springs to life a little bit more. And maybe, Kathy, you can do the honors.
There we go.
So, as you can see, this is going to be a special and vibrant place. We've focused our lighting here on where the bulk of the development, the new development, will be for Disney Springs. But of course, the place, the whole place will encompass this transformation. And Kathy's going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But this technique, by the way, is something that actually was developed by our research and development group at Imagineering. So we're using digital projection to bring this place to life in a way that goes beyond a normal model and gives really people a sense of the place. But maybe, Kathy, can you just give us a little tour of Disney Springs?
Sure. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but when we transformed this model, the first thing that we saw come to life on the model was the Springs itself. So the heart of Disney Springs, of this whole development, is an area that we're calling the Springs. And the Springs is a bubbling water fountain. It's sort of a natural space where we're really taking advantage of the water in general at Disney Springs, a lot more than we do now with Pleasure Island or Downtown Disney. And so this is, we really think of as the heart of the development, and this is where the development grew from. These buildings are lower leveled, one single-storied. They're just going to look a little bit older than the others. And if you turn around, it's a little awkward. We've got a guest point of view of what the Springs area will look like. And really, Disney Springs is made up of 4 different neighborhoods. The first one that we'll talk about is Town Center. Town Center is where most of the retail will take place. Again, we've got another image on the wall behind you, and this is more of a Spanish Revival architecture, just to pull it apart from the other pieces. Up on the water itself is the landing area, and this is where we'll have world-class dining, really taking advantage of the view of the waterfront. You'll be dining out on the waterfront in these wonderful buildings. And all of these buildings, even though we've got different architecture and different architectural periods, are really meant to be warm and nostalgic and just immerse you into the storytelling of this entire space. Our next neighborhood is the Marketplace. This will continue to be our family-friendly retail and dining location that you're, I think, pretty familiar with. The one big change here is that it will be connected to the rest of the development with a causeway. That will help with guest flow, but again, it puts you out on the water and you'll be able to really have just this beautiful, wonderful surroundings. And of course, there's the West Side. And the West Side, Disney's West Side, is excuse me, industrial buildings with elevated train trestle that you'll be able to sit on top for a lounge area. It'll be shade during the day. And it's really a big celebratory, sort of exuberant spot. And so these 4 neighborhoods really make up the entire Disney Springs development.
So sometimes we get asked why we spend so much time on the storytelling, even in a place that isn't a theme park. And as Kathy just described, what it allows us to do, first of all, it guides our development and keeps us rooted in a sense of place. But also, it's even if you're not explicitly telling the story, it comes across to our guests. And so that sense of welcome, that sense of embrace, especially with this great center around the Springs, is going to be instinctive and natural to our guests. And so we want this to be a retail dining entertainment place and experience unlike any other. And I think that it's really going to be special. Now, a big part of Downtown Disney has always been the evening entertainment, dining, etc. And so, since we've got this fun tool, thought we'd give you a little sense of what Disney Springs would be at night. And so you can see we're setting the sun right now.
What's great about Disney Springs is it will have a different personality at night from daytime.
You can tell it's night because there's crickets. So this transformation is going to take place in the next several years. We will complete the transformation to Disney Springs in 2016, but we'll open it in phases. We'll remain open throughout, and we'll phase our development to make sure that we continue to embrace our guests throughout that development period. And I want to pay tribute, frankly, to the people who have been doing so. Our guest ratings at Downtown Disney, even with having taken down much of what was on the old Pleasure Island, have continued to be great. And they've just done a fantastic job of doing that. We'll continue to do that. And then when the transformation takes place, I hope that we can host all of you at Disney Springs again. Just a couple other quick stats. The transformation of Disney Springs is obviously a substantial investment. I'm not going to talk about the numbers, but it'll create 4,000 new jobs when it's completed. During construction, there's about 1,200 construction jobs here in Central Florida. So we're happy about what that does for the community as well, and certainly for what it does for all of our guests, whether they're tourists or locals. And so it's something we can't wait to host you at in person, but in the meantime, I hope this gives you a sense of what we're going to do and why we're so excited about where Disney Springs is going to go. So thank you all very much for taking the time.